expect the weather to have an impact on this game?
Always does. Always does. Some way, shape, or form, the weather will play an impact, whether it's in play. Before the game even starts, you look at the weather, and now you're playing the mind game. I don't care if you're a cold weather team, warm weather team.
Oh, yeah, I like
it's a
this
mind
video.
game. Yeah, it's a mind game.
Short sleeve.
The short sleeves is a mind game. You want to act like it's not cold. I'm cold out there. I'm really cold, but I'm glad we're showing the run after the catch because that's where it starts to really impact players. When you're playing a normal game, you're not thinking about the weather, whether it's raining or in this case, it's below freezing. Like, you never think about, man, how am I going to secure the ball? When the weather is starting to be a factor, the ball is hard, you catch the ball and you naturally start to put two hands on the ball. That is not a natural running position. And so when you play a team like Chicago and the Bears, all they do is punch the ball. Peanut Tillman did it. He started it. This is the team that does it better than a lot of teams in the National Football League. We see it from week to week. The weather will play a factor. Footing, ball. I will say this too. In Chicago, off that lake, real field -18 and the wind is swirling, man, look here. No.
You sound like
I sound like a player. I sound like a player that has played there, and we played an NFC Championship game and lost to the Giants with Tom Coughlin. You remember the frozen icicle nose and snot. Weeks before that, we played our last game in Chicago. Clearly, by far, that was colder. We were freezing. Lost that game mentally because we didn't need it, but we didn't want to be out there because of the weather. It will play a factor. And I just pray for the guys who don't get heavily involved in the offense and or defense because you just don't want to play in games like that.
Let me ask you this. Does it impact a team like the Rams, who are a warm weather team, obviously, more than the Bears?
So, yes, because they don't have, specifically the Rams, because you don't have a way to prepare for it. If you are a warm weather team and you try to have a dome or indoor practice facility and you turn the air completely down, try to make it freezing,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. But if you're the Bears, you're accustomed to it, but you still have to learn to tolerate it. The footing is always going to be an issue. Again, the wind, Caleb has dealt with it.
I just think for the Rams passing game, their guys are going to be more equipped. I think Stafford is more used to playing important cold weather games than Caleb Williams is.
He performed great last year.
Last year, Caleb, or last year Stafford against the Eagles in the snow. We can show you his numbers. He played well. So that's him. He had the fumble. Devontae made his whole Hall of Fame career playing in Green Bay. And I don't know if Puka knows what temperature it is. Puka's out of his mind. Puka's just, and I say that, and I know I poke fun at some of his off-the-field interviews, but he is the best kind of football maniac. Yes. Like, he is excited to create contact with a defensive back in the cold. So I just feel like this is not going to, if it plays a factor, I could see it oddly helping the Rams more than it helps the Bears.
All right, I'm thrilled to delve into this topic because I possess firsthand experience transitioning from coast to coast, moving from frigid climates to balmy ones, and vice versa. Undoubtedly, such a shift exerts a tangible influence. I mean, consider this. Greg Jennings articulated the realities of performing in cold conditions far more eloquently than I ever could. However, the cold invariably impacts athletic performance, irrespective of the sport. I have competed in the cold. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer, virtually every conceivable sport. I've played in freezing temperatures, amidst snowfall, in torrential downpours, you name it. This spans both high-level competitive environments and casual settings, since obviously one doesn't typically engage in competitive basketball during a rainstorm unless it's an impromptu outdoor activity. Nevertheless, whether it's baseball, football, soccer, or any other, the conditions introduce an additional mental variable. It's an extra factor occupying mental real estate. Even when you're off the field, seated on the bench or sidelined, you're contemplating it. It's an integral component of the experience. You discuss it with teammates on the sidelines. You are acutely aware of its presence. You perceive it. Every impact you sustain, particularly if you're the quarterback handling the ball, delivering a throw, or if you're a receiver making a play, everything feels distinctly altered. You recognize this difference instantaneously. It's an immediate awareness. Consequently, it's simply another element demanding consideration. Regarding the coastal transition, I was born and raised in a cold environment. I've developed such a formidable tolerance to cold that I don't even own a substantial jacket. For whatever innate reason, I simply endure. Subsequently, I resided in Southern California. I'll never forget, I believe I've recounted this anecdote previously, I was socializing outdoors with someone one evening. It was approximately 9 or 10 p.m., nothing exceptionally late. I began shivering uncontrollably, clad in shorts and a t-shirt, some lightweight attire. I pondered, how cold is it presently? Given I was in California, I was perplexed. I retrieved my phone, discovered it was approximately 62 degrees Fahrenheit, and was utterly baffled. What is occurring? Why am I so chilled? I am accustomed to significantly colder weather. The explanation provided was, oh, your tolerance diminishes, your blood thins, and similar rationales. I struggled to comprehend it. Then, upon returning to the eastern regions, the cold would assail you with overwhelming force. You'd exclaim, whoa, what on earth is this? Conversely, transitioning back east to west, you'd think, this is how normal weather should feel. The contrast is jarring. It is an unequivocal, tangible phenomenon. I suspect anyone who has embarked on a vacation can grasp this sensation intuitively. However, it is particularly pronounced if you've spent an extended duration in a warmer, milder climate before confronting an extreme environment. For instance, acclimating to Southern California's 70-80 degree weather, then returning east to 50 or 40 degrees, you feel it profoundly. Now contemplate 2 or 18 degrees, it is a significant factor, unquestionably. Thus, weather will indisputably exert an impact. Ideally, it contributes to an entertaining spectacle, rather than merely, oh, these players are severely hindered. However, indeed, it matters. And let's be clear, this isn't inherently an advantage for one team over the other. Conceptually, the Los Angeles Rams' receivers should, ideally, be more acclimated or equipped. However, the Chicago Bears intend to emphasize their rushing attack. This could theoretically benefit them. Yet, do not misinterpret. The Rams also possess a formidable ground game. Some analysts might even posit they have the most proficient rushing offense in the NFL, merely stating a perspective. Regarding passing and slicing through wind, Caleb Williams possesses a potent arm. Concerning Matthew Stafford, acknowledging his veteran status, I assert unequivocally, if you can apply pressure and deliver several forceful hits, he will feel those repercussions. He will feel them substantially. Therefore, if you can initiate pressure and consistently reach him, his physical condition will not operate at an optimal level. This is a genuine aspect warranting close observation. Additionally, consider the entire cold weather game against the Philadelphia Eagles, featuring snow and slippery conditions. The broadcast commentary highlighted how Eagles defenders afforded substantial cushion to receivers due to the treacherous footing. Tom Brady himself has remarked that in such slick conditions, he relished the scenario because it presents a considerable advantage for the offense, particularly the quarterback, due to that requisite spacing. Furthermore, the offensive player, whether receiver or running back, knows their intended path. It's their designated route. The defender must react, placing them in a more vulnerable position regarding footing. This elucidates why defenders frequently lose traction more often than offensive players. They are reacting, not dictating. Hence, a game characterized by slipping and sliding constitutes its own unique variant. Moreover, not all such conditions are identical. Sometimes, a slick surface might benefit a quarterback like Brady, who perceives an advantage. However, a heavy, wet snow presents challenges. A wet football, receivers with damp hands, complicating receptions. One must observe the actual gameplay to ascertain who benefits, who adapts effectively, and so forth. Therefore, no definitive conclusion exists. However, let there be no misunderstanding. I am not casting doubt upon the Los Angeles Rams. They possess every rationale to emerge victorious. I have reiterated this persistently. You are confronting Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devonta Adams, alongside 2 elite running backs, regardless of contrary narratives, and a stout defense, again, irrespective of popular opinion. They possess extensive experience. Consequently, I believe that in a contest where weather may influence outcomes, the advantage could tilt toward the more experienced collective. If a neutralizing element exists, the team with greater experience in pivotal roles, coach, quarterback, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, might hold an edge. Nonetheless, a game of this nature renders it challenging to genuinely ascertain how events will transpire and what precise role weather will play, because one essentially must await the unfolding action. If the Bears can generate a consistent pass rush, disrupt Matthew Stafford's rhythm, and repeatedly pressure him, I assure you, he will feel those effects cumulatively, impacting him more severely than a younger player like Caleb Williams, who is approximately 23 or 24 years old, endowed with greater physical resilience than Stafford. However, I would not presently select a side regarding which team benefits or suffers from the weather, as I believe it will depend overwhelmingly on the game's specific flow. Given both teams boast rushing attacks, they are content to utilize extensively, and neither quarterback possesses a weak arm. Both have powerful throwing capabilities, and both offensive coordinators are adept strategists capable of navigating adverse conditions, and both teams feature multiple reliable running backs. It resembles a coin flip regarding how the game evolves. If the game's trajectory shifts, for instance, a turnover returned for a touchdown leading to a 10 or 14-point deficit, it might force the trailing team, whether Bears or Rams, to abandon their preferred rushing approach. They might need to pass more frequently in conditions where the ball is heavy, hands are cold, and generating separation is difficult, thereby exacerbating the weather's impact in a manner that wouldn't have occurred absent that pivotal turnover. This complexity renders predictions considerably more intricate, in my honest assessment. Those are my reflections. I would immensely appreciate hearing your perspectives. What are your thoughts regarding the Chicago Bears, the weather implications, and the Los Angeles Rams? How do you anticipate these factors influencing the contest? I must confess, I am quite pleased that I will be live streaming this game from a comfortably warm room, attired in cozy sweatshirt and pants. I will relish observing the proceedings from my pleasant vantage point. Please share your opinions. I meticulously read every comment, whether you concur or dissent. Regardless, let's engage in dialogue, perhaps even some spirited debates, but ultimately, let's enjoy the discourse. Please consider subscribing, as we are fostering an exceptional community here, and would be delighted to have you participate. I aim to cultivate a space where we all feel a genuine connection, an environment we are enthusiastic about joining. I believe we are making significant strides toward that objective. Additionally, please remember to like this video, as it genuinely enhances visibility and algorithmic promotion. Thank you sincerely. I look forward to our next interaction.